We have not one, not two, but three new games that we are talking about in today's video that could indeed be headed to Nintendo's next-gen platform, two of which have to deal with a big leak that recently hit the internet from a reliable source who has a proven track record of revealing games before they were officially announced in the past. And the other game in question is a franchise that I absolutely want to see return, and it actually has to do with a new trademark filing, not just a simple run-of-the-mill renewal, but an international trademark filing for a beloved, forgotten franchise that we've been talking about actually in a couple recent videos here. So we're going to unpack all the details. Before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification to join Sunbro Nation if you're new here. And I want to first kick it off with the story that reveals two different games that have indeed leaked for Nintendo Switch 2, coming from a reliable source that does have accurate information in the past. Now, the games in question here are Persona 3 Reload and Metaphor, both Atlus games, not the type of games that I play quite as much, but obviously they have a massive following online, and you can see the following article posted up over on My Nintendo News, which outlines prominent leaker says that Persona 3 Reload releasing on Switch successor. You may recall yesterday Atlus had confirmed to Atomix that there were no plans to release Persona 3 Reload on Nintendo Switch. The idea is there, but they said that it's a matter of discussing it with the team and seeing what they think about it, and we'll see what happens. Well, now we may know why. According to the prominent leaker, which I will just highlight the name on screen, I'm not going to read all those characters, Atlus is planning to release Persona 3 Reload on the next Nintendo console. This person is the same user that leaked the existence of Persona 3 Reload and Persona 5 Tactica before they were announced, and the same leaker that recently said that a Sonic the Hedgehog spin-off mobile game is releasing later this year. You can see their tweet down below. Now, they are responding to a tweet which reads, in an interview with Atomix VG, Atlus has stated that from the very beginning of the development process for Persona 3 Reload, a version for Nintendo Switch was explicitly decided against. The demand is noted, however, and it's now a matter of discussing it with the team. And the big part at the bottom, which you can see, is because Persona 3 Reload will be on the next Nintendo hardware and Metaphor 2. Now, you may remember recently we talked about game developers being surveyed about what consoles they were currently developing games for, and we saw 8% or over 200 plus developers say Nintendo's next generation console, and this would line up with that. There is definitely developers that are shifting projects to Nintendo's next gen hardware purely because it's probably going to be significantly easier for them to get it running natively without having to jump through a ton of crazy hoops to get it to run smoothly. We know the Nintendo Switch is dated hardware at this point in time, and I do believe there's probably a number of projects out there that we just don't have leaks about that are being held back, and you're seeing the other versions come out on modern consoles, but we don't have any kind of confirmation that they'll be coming to a Nintendo platform just because that hardware has not been revealed from Nintendo yet. And that's why I'm hopeful we get that official hardware reveal sooner rather than later. My money's still on March, but you never know with Nintendo, and this does also make a ton of sense just considering that the Persona series had a big push on the Nintendo Switch last year, where we saw the confirmation that Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal were all headed to Nintendo Switch. So the fact that Reload was missing and this new game Metaphor from Atlus, well, it looks like they won't be missing for long. This again was coming from an account that revealed multiple projects that we now know to be confirmed before we got any kind of confirmation around them. So it's not a Zippo or somebody else that may get some things right and get other things completely wrong. To my knowledge, this particular account has only talked about things that have actually ended up happening. So if the news stopped there, it would already be pretty exciting considering that we're going to start hearing about more and more leaked Nintendo Switch 2 projects that just can't be announced yet until Nintendo does decide to reveal the console. But we actually have a beloved franchise of mine back in the news once again, which is none other than Star Fox, and this is because a brand new trademark has recently been filed internationally for the game. This is a little bit different than your standard run-of-the-mill renewal, as you can see the following post over from Necro Felipe on Twitter, which reads, apparently it wasn't just in Brazil. Nintendo's application for international registration, unprecedented and not a renewal of the Star Fox brand, has become public. Where there is smoke, ... Now, funnily enough, I had just mentioned Zippo, and while we don't normally talk about him on the channel, and I really could care less about what he has to say with his quote-unquote inside information, he did provide something that's kind of interesting about Star Fox recently on his blog post where he says code for this new Star Fox appears to have been in Switch Sports this entire time. It's gone widely unreported on for some reason. Now, he would be right about it going widely unreported because I did not catch this myself, that in Switch Sports there's some kind of code for Star Fox, but assuming that this is real code that he provided a screenshot of, and I believe it is, you can see multiple things referencing Star Fox within the code, and assuming that maybe those developers are using that same engine, this could be something that was just left behind. The rumor from Zippo also is that it is being internally developed by Nintendo for the first time since Star Fox 64, and I'm not opposed to that idea either. And from there, we'll have to wait and see, because he put some claims out there like online multiplayer will be a big part of the game's promotion, so really kind of marketed as an online multiplayer game for Star Fox. He's saying it's going to be a sequel to a previous Star Fox game, not a reboot. So is it Star Fox 64 2, or is it something like Star Fox Adventures 2 or Star Fox Assault 2? I don't know, but these are of course coming from Zippo. The trademark, on the other hand, is not. That is an official public filing, but he does say that it will release within the next 12 months and that it could be a cross-generation release, so at least we don't have to wait too long to find out if he has accurate info on this particular project. But regardless of whether or not anything he says turns out to be accurate, we do have a international new filing for Star Fox as a trademark, and that I think spells that Nintendo is gearing this brand up for some kind of revival in some way, shape, or form, and I definitely think it's time, because I don't count Starlink from Ubisoft as a Star Fox game, even though he was in there, and Star Fox Zero, while somewhat enjoyable on the Wii U, really wasn't the best iteration of Star Fox by a long shot. So I'm ready to see something fresh, internally developed by a first-hand Nintendo team is a very exciting prospect for this thing if that piece of information is indeed true. And I'm just personally happy that we're getting to the season where we're talking about more and more unannounced Nintendo projects, and maybe some long forgotten franchises finally getting their moment in the spotlight when we talk about things like Nintendo launching their next generation hardware, not to mention a plethora of third-party support from Atlas and various other companies that can now get their games to more easily run on Nintendo's current offerings as far as the hardware aspect. So that's where I really want to hear from you guys at this point in the video. What do you make of these new Nintendo Switch 2 games? Do you think that yes indeed for sure we will see Persona 3 Reload, Metaphor, and even a Star Fox game hit the Switch 2? What do you want to see from Star Fox personally? Because I'd really love to hear your ideas on that. Do you want something more akin to Adventures, and you actually would love to see an Adventures 2 with Star Fox? I think it would be a really cool idea if they merged the Adventures type of gameplay, but completely also kept in more of the space exploration as well as ground travel and things, but kind of kept that Legend of Zelda feel of exploration for Star Fox. But what do you want to see from the future of the franchise? And are you excited for these Persona leaks that seem more or less confirmed considering the source on this particular leak? But regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Go watch the video on screen next if you haven't already. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.